I am not a doctor, and I want to say that right up front because what I am about to tell you could change how you take a pill you have probably swallowed every single morning for years without a second thought. There may be a most dangerous time of day to take your blood pressure medication, and for a lot of people, that time is the one nearly every bottle quietly assumes you'll choose. I have spent the last few weeks reading through the research on this, and what I found surprised me, because it goes against the habit most of us were taught. So, in the next few minutes, I am going to walk you through three things. First, what your blood pressure is actually doing while you sleep and why that matters more than your daytime number. Second, what the studies have found about morning versus nighttime dosing and stroke risk. And third, EUI. And this is the part most people get wrong, so stay with me. Exactly what to ask your doctor before you change a single thing. Because timing matters, but how you change it matters just as much. Let me start with something your body does every night that you have never felt. Your blood pressure is not a fixed number. It rises and falls in a rhythm across 24 hours, the same way your body temperature does, the same way your hormones do. Doctors call this your circadian rhythm, and your blood vessels follow it just like everything else. For most healthy people, blood pressure climbs in the early morning to get you up and moving, stays elevated through the day, and then this is the key part where it dips down at night while you sleep. Researchers call this the nocturnal dip. In a healthy pattern, your blood pressure drops by about 10 to 20% overnight. Your heart and your arteries get a few hours of rest. It is one of the quiet ways your body protects itself, night after night for decades. Now here is where it gets interesting and where aging comes in. As we get older, and especially when high blood pressure has been part of the picture for years, that healthy overnight dip can flatten out. The blood pressure that is supposed to come down at night just doesn't. In some people, it even rises at night higher than it is during the day. Researchers have names for these patterns. Someone whose pressure stays up overnight is called a non-dipper. Someone whose pressure actually climbs at night is sometimes called a reverse dipper. And studies have found again and again that the people whose blood pressure does not dip properly at night tend to have a higher risk of the things we are all trying to avoid: stroke, heart attack, kidney strain, and trouble with memory and thinking down the road. So why does that matter for when you take your pill? Think about it this way. If you take a blood pressure medication first thing in the morning, it goes to work during the day, which is helpful because that is when many people's pressure is highest. But a lot of these medications do most of their work in the first stretch of hours after you take them, and then slowly taper off. So if you dose in the morning, the medicine may be fading right at the time of night, when your pressure is supposed to be dipping but isn't. The overnight hours, especially those early morning hours just before dawn, are when a great many strokes and heart attacks actually happen. That is not a coincidence. That early morning surge in a body whose pressure never came down overnight is a genuinely vulnerable window, and the question researchers started asking was simple. What if we time the medication to cover that window instead? This is an approach called chronotherapy, a fancy word that just means timing a treatment to match your body's clock. And there has been real research into whether taking blood pressure pills at night instead of in the morning could help restore that healthy overnight dip and lower the risk that comes with it. One large study out of Spain, often called the Higuia study, followed thousands of patients and reported that those who took at least one of their blood pressure medications at bedtime had better controlled nighttime pressure and a notably lower rate of cardiovascular events than those who took everything in the morning. When that study came out, it made headlines, and a lot of people understandably thought, well, that settles it. Everyone should take their pills at night. But I want to be honest with you, because this is exactly the kind of thing where half the story gets people into trouble. That Spanish study was striking, but other researchers had questions about how it was run, and the results were strong enough that some experts felt they were almost too good to be true. So a large, careful study was done in the United Kingdom. It is often called the TIMES study, specifically to test this question. They took thousands of people on blood pressure medication and randomly assigned some to take their pills in the morning and some to take them in the evening, and then they followed everyone for years. And what they found was this: For the average person in that study, it did not make a significant difference in heart attacks and strokes whether they took their pill in the morning or the evening. Both groups did about the same. Now, I can almost hear you asking, so which is it? And here is the honest, grown-up answer, the one that does not fit on a bumper sticker. The big takeaway from all of this research together is reassuring in one important way. Taking your medication consistently every single day at a time you will actually remember matters far more than the exact hour on the clock. The best time to take your blood pressure pill may genuinely be whatever time helps you never ever miss a dose. For a lot of people, that is morning, tied to breakfast and brushing their teeth. And if that is you and it is working, the research does not say you need to change a thing. But, and this is the nuance the headlines flattened, that does not mean timing never matters for anyone. For certain people, particularly those non-dippers and reverse dippers whose pressure stays high all night, when you dose may still be worth looking at closely. And the only way to know which kind of pattern your body has is to actually measure it overnight, which is something you cannot feel and cannot guess. So timing is not a magic switch for everyone, but it is not nothing for everyone either. It depends on you, specifically, and that is the whole point of where I am headed next. Before I get there, let me give you one quick friendly tip. If you have ever felt lost trying to keep track of your medications, what they're for, and when you take them, I put together a simple, free medication organizer guide that walks you through making your own list, the kind your doctor and pharmacist will actually thank you for. It is in the link in the description, no cost, just a little something I think helps. Now let me get to the part that matters most. Here is what most people get wrong, and I need you to really hear this. The mistake is not taking your pill in the morning. The mistake is reading something like this, getting worried, and quietly switching your dose to bedtime on your own without telling anyone. Please do not do that. I am going to walk you through exactly why and exactly what to do instead. First, never stop or change the timing of a medication on your own. Some blood pressure medications are water pills, diuretics, medicines like hydrochlorothiazide or furosemide that make you urinate more. If you move one of those to bedtime, you may find yourself up 3 times in the night, which is not just annoying. For an older adult, getting up half asleep to rush to the bathroom is a real fall risk, and a broken hip is its own kind of danger. So the smart move and the medically safe move are the same move. Bring this to your doctor and your pharmacist. Second, when you do talk to them, go in with good questions. Here are the ones I would write down. Ask, do you know whether my blood pressure dips at night or am I a non-dipper? They may suggest something called 24-hour ambulatory monitoring, a little cuff you wear for a day that checks your pressure around the clock, including while you sleep. That single test tells them more than 100 readings in the office ever could. Then ask, given my specific medications, is there any reason the timing might matter for me? And ask, if we ever did adjust the timing, how would we do it safely? Because a thoughtful doctor will not just flip a switch, they may adjust one pill at a time and recheck your numbers. Third, keep taking your medication exactly as prescribed until that conversation happens. The biggest danger in this whole topic is not morning dosing, and it is not nighttime dosing. The biggest danger, by a long way, is a person who reads a headline, gets scared, and stops taking their pill altogether. Blood pressure that is left uncontrolled is one of the most well-established risks for stroke, heart attack, kidney damage, and memory decline that we know of. The pill in your hand is doing important, quiet work. So whatever you do, do not stop a medication on your own. Talk to your doctor about any change first. Let me pull this all together because I do not want you walking away with just a pile of facts. Your blood pressure follows a daily rhythm, and it is supposed to dip while you sleep. As we age, that dip can disappear, and the people whose pressure stays high overnight tend to carry more risk. Chronotherapy, timing your medication to your body's clock, is a genuinely interesting idea, and one large study suggested bedtime dosing helped, but a larger, more careful study found that for most people, morning versus evening did not change the outcome much. What did matter in every study was taking the medication faithfully every day without missing. And the single most important step you can take is not changing your pill time tonight. It is bringing this question to your doctor, asking whether your pressure dips at night, and letting a professional who knows your full medical picture guide any change safely. You took the time to learn something today that a lot of people never think to ask about, and that tells me you are the kind of person who takes their health seriously. That matters more than you know. If this helped you understand your own body a little better, I have more plain spoken guides like this one waiting for you in the link down in the description. Go take a look when you have a quiet moment. And before I let you go, let me say this clearly, friend to friend. Everything I have shared today is general information to help you ask better questions. It is not medical advice, and I am not your doctor. Your body, your medications, and your history are unique to you, and the only person who can tell you the right time to take your blood pressure pill is the doctor and pharmacist who know your case. So bring them your questions, keep taking your medicine as prescribed, and never stop or change anything on your own. Take good care of yourself, look after that heart of yours, and I will see you in the next one.